everyone, welcome back to Kevin Reviews. I just finished rewatching Ultimate Avengers. This is a 2006 straight to DVD, home video, animated film. That's by Lionsgate Films and Marvel Studios. This is directed by Curt, Geda, Stephen E. Gordon, Bob Richardson, and it's written by Greg Johnson, Boyd Kirkland. Boyd Kirkland I'm familiar with as more often than not, he's known for a lot of the art department and storyboard artist. Well-known one he did was Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Last writer is Craig Kyle. Then we have our voice cast with Justin Gross, Greg DeLisle, Michael Massee, Marc Worrden, Olivia Abo, I'm probably butchered that. Andre Ware, David Boat, and Nolan North, and there's a few more voice actors, but that's pretty much because it's Avengers. I have to list the majority of them off. A lot of them don't really pop out except for Grey DeLisle, she's mostly remembered for. She played Daphne in a couple of the Scooby Doo series, I believe. What's New Scooby Doo? And I think other iterations of like Mystery Incorporated. And also, I think what she's well known or well famous for is Azula in the Avatar: Last Airbender series. So, other than that, that's all I really know in terms of voice actors is her and maybe Nolan North. I don't remember exactly what he did. I'm sure I'll probably put it down here. I didn't do a lot of research beforehand, but yes, um, this is this came 2 years before the Iron Man movie, with the live action Iron Man movie, and this also came about uh, six more years before the Avengers movie, and yeah, unfortunately, because I didn't see this till way after the Avengers movie, the MCU stuff. So a lot of it's just kind of, swept under the rug, similar to Doctor Strange movie the animated Doctor Strange movie that I saw. Um, but yeah, Ultimate Avengers is it much like does it predate? Does it retell like you know the story that will eventually become the Avengers? I mean, I'll get into that. I don't have a ton of trivia for it, but I mean, interesting facts or details. Although there is one, but suffice to say, I'll probably get into that a little bit later because it relates to the animation. But in any case, why don't we go ahead and start? This may likely be a short review. I've said that many times, and it usually goes, more than 20 minutes. But yeah, this might be really short. I don't have a ton to say about this film, but let's get into my review for Ultimate Avengers. So the story goes in the Ultimate Avengers is, yeah. First off, if the story when we're talking about the MCU, I'm going to actually, yeah, we'll do a lot of compare and contrast in the MCU here. But basically, this isn't just Ultimate Avengers. If I had to be more specific and up to date with MCU standards, this is more Captain America, the Avengers. Um, because this film centers around Captain America. We see him fight in World War II. Um, and he mission was successful, but he ends up being frozen in ice and thawed out years later, and now he's tasked to help lead a team, the Avengers, with Iron Man, Ant Man, or Giant Man as he's called in this one, um, and Black Widow and and the rest to basically fend off the Tatsciore. Yes, the Chitauri are in this one, much like in the 2012 Avengers. Um, though it's slightly different this time, and even their introduction's a bit odd. But I mean, I'll probably get into that a little bit later. Um, Regardless, he has to lead this team, but the team is not exactly getting along. They have disagreements. Even some say he can't lead the team because he's just so out of touch, out of time in general. Um, but suffice to say, they have to eventually come together and just try to defeat the Chitauri before they destroy the Earth, and that's about it, frankly. Um, yeah, this is more Captain America, the Avengers, than just the event Ultimate Avengers. I will say that. As for my feelings, on it, I thought it was average. Frankly, it does feel like an introduction to a TV show, rather than you know a full-fledged movie that's fleshed out. Because this is an hour and 11-minute movie, and you're dealing with a group, the Avengers. You know, watching it solo. If you are not familiar with the Marvel stuff, you're going to be lost, and you're probably not going to care much about the characters other than what they do exactly in terms of their abilities and powers and what they're built up to be, not exactly who they are as people. Aside from Captain America, because we do have moments where he's trying to be able to fit into a time period that he's not accustomed to. He's trying to learn, as well as trying to lead the team that don't even want to listen to him because as much as the team respects for what he did, they think he's just not qualified to do it. um, we do get the we do get those moments, but a lot of times this is a cliff note version of the Avengers. Basically, we don't really see like Steve Rogers, how he became Captain America, other than a flashback. We don't really see how Tony Stark becomes Iron Man. There's not even a flashback for him. It's just pretty rushed. And even they changed some of the characters a little bit. Like uh, Tony Stark, unlike the Iron Man we know with Robert Downey Jr., where he comes out becoming saying he's Iron Man. This Iron Man does not, say he's Iron Man to the public. He's not. He's he plays Mike like Bruce Wayne Batman. So he lives the playboy lifestyle, but then when on his own he's becomes Iron Man, and he's trying to stop disasters or help people basically. So he's kind of like Bruce Wayne in a way. Um, you got Giant Man Hank Pym. He's he's a bit of a smart. You know, he's a smart, but he kind of is really a jerk and just kind of hot headed. Um, he's we don't see a lot of his smarts necessarily in the film. We don't even see a lot of smarts from Tony's you know side of things. We don't really see Avengers really working together that much, or you know even or bouncing off ideas. The closest thing we have is Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner is an interesting one because he's part of Shield. He's supposed to start the Super Soldier program, but he's more um, interested in Captain America specifically because um, I'm probably going to give away spoilers likely, but he's trying to figure out a way to, uh, you know, tame the Hulk in a way. And of course, we all know it. Usually, when that happens, it doesn't work out. But yeah, there's quite a bit of changes overall. The Tatsciore, for example. But granted, this is from a different comic book series called Ultimate Avengers, and from what I did at least research, the Chitauri and the Ultimate Avengers are supposed to be like shapeshifters, much like the Skrulls. I think there was planned to be Skrulls in this instead of the Chitauri, but I think they scrapped that just so they can deal with do the Chitauri in general. Um, let's see. Um, animation is good. I mean, the thing is though, um, the animation that they use is cell shaded, and it's very similar from what I researched is very similar to a TV series, a one that lasted only one season that was a Marvel TV series called Stripperella. And yes, this is by Stan Lee. And this is Stripperella. Um, where they had Pamela Anderson be a stripper and a superhero. So, uh, and I admit I have seen a couple episodes, but it didn't work for me. But it was pretty out there, and completely shift directions and it's trying to be more adult friendly. But in any case, yeah. Um, but that was between 2003 and 2004. So we do see the animation now, and it looks better, but it does feel like it's more geared for a TV series. I don't think it, you know, and I don't know exactly in terms of its budget if it actually worked, if it got the numbers it needed, but frankly, it didn't really appeal to many, and so there was no TV series off this. Also, this is based off the Ultimate Avengers in the comics, which is supposed to be a much darker type version. And while the Ultimate Avengers film does have an interesting death count, it's not as its tone is still relatively kid friendly overall. Um, yeah. Um, Frankly, I think the only thing popular about the film is certain scenes because there is one fight scene that is really good. That even has like on a couple of YouTube videos. There's an epic fight scene where the Avengers are going against the Hulk, and it's pretty awesome how they do it. So you frankly don't even need to watch the entire movie just so you just click on that video and you enjoy it for what it is. It's a really nice scene because like I said, it's just a cliff note version of the Avengers. We don't other than Captain America at least having a story and something we can at least sympathize with his with what he's dealing with. Um, Everyone else is just kind of by the numbers. They just kind of go through things. I mean, we don't know a ton about Tony Stark. We don't know a ton about Ant Man other than his Ant Man or Giant Man or the Wasp. Wasp played by Greg DeLisle, by the way. Just they're a couple and they're trying and you know just trying to work as a team and whatnot. There's not really a ton to really work with, and for an hour and an 11-minute movie, it doesn't really work overall. But I think that's the point. It feels more like a pilot TV series that did not have a chance to get off the ground or didn't make the numbers it wanted to, the budget it needed to say, okay, people, audiences are interested in this. So, I mean, later we do get Avengers TV series, but overall, um, it didn't really pan out as much. I would say as the Justice League or any of the animated Batman movies. So I gotta pause here. Sorry. Action wise, it's pretty good. It's like I said, it's not groundbreaking. It's not it's not you know at all. It's not groundbreaking at all. But I mean, at least aside from the last scene where they fight the Hulk, um, there's not really anything to really write home about for this. Unfortunately, there's even like Thor who kind of comes in early and has a really funny moment. Unfortunately, he kind of disappears for the majority of the film. He doesn't really come back till much later. And even his, uh, you know, he's kind of pointless overall. Um, but yeah, it's average. It's an average film. I you know, is it better than Doctor Strange? No, I wouldn't probably go that far and say it's better than Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, because at least that it focuses on certain things. Um, Even though there could be moments it could have been better. Um, but I mean, the animation, like I said, the animation is good. The cell shaded animation, the action, Captain America himself is handled well enough. Um, but if you are not familiar with the Avengers at all, this is a Cliff Note version. You're not going to really care a lot about these characters, and who they are. And Tony Stark even isn't even that interesting of a character when he's, in terms of the voice acting and whatnot. It's not He's not interesting. Yeah, it just kind of comes and goes really. I think if I had to give it a rating, oh, let's- I said average. Why don't we just go with? I think I'll go with 3 stars. It's fine for what it is. Um, but I don't. It's nothing to really, you know. There's nothing more I could say about it. But if you want to check it out, go for it. But unless you're not familiar with a lot of the Marvel characters or whatever, this will not work for you. So I would even recommend just straight up watching the MCU films instead of getting this version. But yeah, 3 stars. It's fine for what it is. So, what are your thoughts on Ultimate Avengers? Leave in the comments below. Leave a like, dislike, and if you wish. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so it can be updated. And the next Marvel film, I will be starting to get into the um, Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting with Iron Man. That won't be up till about uh, in 2 weeks because next week is Valentine's Day. I'm planning to do, um, a Valentine's Day, you know, either on the 13th or 14th. I'm looking maybe doing the 14th, but we'll see. Um, Suffice to say, I will pick one, um, kind of Valentine related film, and then I'll likely do a poll for another one. I'll put the poll out maybe next week at most, or maybe later this week, or sometime before I before the reviews that I have coming this week will be out. So yeah, um, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye.